Hari Om Vijay ji, over to you. And welcome to all the Satsangis once again. A very happy Monday, a very happy Navratri to all of you.
First of all, my pranams to Vaniji and Vasuji. It's the blessing and guidance of elders like Vasuji and Vaniji and all the great teachers that brings out the best that is in you. So you need the right teachers. So they have been the right teachers. So therefore, all the credit should go to great teachers like them. So first of all, thank you very much, Vaniji and Vasuji. Excellent. All right. So today's topic is down the rabbit hole. But before we go down the rabbit hole, let's begin with prayer. So all of you, please sit straight. You can close your eyes. We will begin with chanting Omkara 3 times. Om. 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 Let us offer our respects to the self. Antarjyotihi, Bahirjyotihi, Pratyajyotihi, Paratpara, Jyotirjyotihi, Swayam Jyotihi, Atmajyotihi, Shivosmyaham. Let us offer our respects to the Guru. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Let us offer our respects to the Guru Parampara. Narayana Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Today happens to be the second day of the Navaratri. Navaratri is a great time to get connected with Divine Mother and to take her blessings in our self-realization work. So let us offer our respects to the Divine Mother, who is in you and me as the Jnana, Ichha and Kriya, the power of the knowledge, of the thinking, and of action. And I want to take this opportunity to offer my gratitude to the two of the greatest masters that have been blessed to be associated with. Sri Acharya Vinay Vinaykar, who is the founder of Society for Establishing Vishwa as a Kutumba, and Sri Narasimha Prabhuji. Both these great masters have dedicated their life, and their mission in life is to guide and help any seeker to their self-realization. And in that path, the commitment and the love and the great sacrifices they have shown is a wonderful role model. So if at all today there is anything being spoken that touches you, it is all due to their grace. Today, we will be taking a lot of wisdom from the great Adi Shankaracharya. So let us offer our respects to Adi Shankaracharya ji. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. We are truly blessed to be in this great country of ours where such great masters have dedicated their life. So we all are blessed. So let's begin our today's journey with a story of all stories. You may be wondering, what is the story of all stories? Of course, let's first listen to the story and then I'll tell you why it is a story of all stories. This is a very, very popular story. I'm very sure all of you would know this from your childhood, and especially those who speak Kannada and those who have been brought up listening to the Kannada songs from the 80s and the 90s would definitely know this movie and this particular song. ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು ಸುಳ್ಳಾಗಬಹುದು, ನೋಡಿದ್ದು ಸುಳ್ಳಾಗಬಹುದು, ನಿಧಾನಿಸಿ ಯೋಚಿಸಿದಾಗ ನಿಜವು ತಿಳಿಯುವುದು. So there was this great family, the mother, the father, and a child, and they had a pet mongoose. And the mongoose was part of their family. Everyone loved it. And the mother would keep the mongoose near the baby whenever she would do any work, because she was so confident that the baby is being guarded by the mongoose. So such was their relationship to that mongoose. And it so happened one day she had to go and get some water, and she told the mongoose, be near the baby because this is a village side. There is a danger of lot of snakes and such animals. Be near the baby. I'll come back. And she tied the mongoose to a pole near the baby and she went to get the water. And that day, unfortunately, indeed a snake came. And the mongoose, as you know, would attack a snake. So it somehow made itself free from the bonding that the mother had tied and went and attacked the snake, of course, killing it. In that whole battle, the mongoose mouse had become bloody, and also there was a lot of blood in and around. So now the mongoose did not run away. After the fighting and after killing the snake, it started waiting near the door for the mother to come. In the mongoose's heart, it has done the greatest work, and it was waiting for the mother to come and pet and say, be proud. The mother came, she saw the mongoose, she saw a lot of blood, and the first thing came to her mind is that, oh, this mongoose has done something terrible to my child. And in that fit of rage and emotion and sadness, she, whatever the tumbler in which she was carrying the water, she threw it on top of this mongoose, which instantly killed the mongoose. And she ran inside to see her baby. There, the baby was playing, smiling. And she saw a dead snake around that baby. Then slowly, what had happened dawned on her. But alas, it was done. The deed was done. Now the mongoose was dead. And there was a lot of sadness in the heart of the mother. So this story, all of us know. All of us would have heard in our childhood. So why is this a story of all stories? So when you listen to any story, when you hear any story, in any situation of life, there is something that appears, but there is something that is inside, which when you reflect little closely, you will gain to know what we can call as a insight. Something that is not apparent outside, but something that is apparent when you examine. So what is the insight from this particular story? So in this story, first of all, she noticed the mongoose at the door with the blood. So what was the conclusion in her mind? This mongoose has done something terrible. To who? To my child. Because she had left the mongoose with the child. That was a conclusion that she drew. So whenever you see like that in your life, you may have certain conclusions about anything, any aspect of your life. You may have a conclusion about who is a good person, who is a bad person. You may have a conclusion about what is the right way to administer this country. You may have a conclusion about what is the right restaurant to eat, what is the right food, about culture, about religion, about anything in life. All of us carry lots of conclusion in our mind. So what is behind any conclusion? Behind any conclusion, we all might have gathered certain facts. So for this mother in the story, the fact is she saw the mongoose near the door and it had blood in its mouth. That's the fact. That's what she observed. So the conclusion she drew from that is, oh, it must have killed. So now there is something like that in your and my life also behind any of the conclusions that we draw. So we may have noticed, for example, in either newspaper or television report or through various people who talk around us, that politicians are dirty. They are very corrupt. And for that, as a fact, there'll be a lot of news where they will talk about one or the other corruption, who is involved, how much money. So by observing all this, the fact in our mind generally draws the conclusion that politicians are corrupt, as an example. But there is something far more important which is behind this fact, and that is an assumption. So, as an assumption in this particular story, the mother, she saw the blood, and the assumption in her mind is something terrible to my child has happened. So, that assumption and whatever she noticed made her draw the conclusion which essentially led to whatever disaster that happened. Is it not? So, this is the flow of how you and I also draw various kinds of conclusions in our life. So, what it is? Behind every conclusion that you and I draw, we generally have some or the other facts. If somebody comes to you and says, why do you conclude like this? You will dole out some facts. You will say, because of this reason, this is the conclusion. But most often, the other thing behind the fact, which is what? Until the assumption behind the fact is discovered. In this story, when the mother rushed inside and she saw the baby smiling and a dead snake, that is when her assumption fell apart. Oh my God, what a terrible thing I have done. What a terrible thing I have caused. So, why that happened? Because she never verified her assumption that there is blood on the mouth of the mongoose. But what may be the reason why it has happened? The assumption was something terrible the mongoose has done to the baby. So this never was verified. So like that, for you and me also in life, behind every conclusion we draw, there is some fact. It is not out of nothing that we simply speak. When you are asked why you think in one certain way, you have a certain fact. But most often, you and I may or may not have verified the assumption. So it's the assumption that causes this entire chain of subsequent thinking, and therefore the action. So when the assumption is identified or discovered, then that reveals a wonderful aspect called truth. So today, like that, we will use this as our insight formula. So that's why I said this is a story of all stories, because through this story, we have discovered how to identify insights from any story. Because when you look at life, when somebody is saying something, behind what they're saying, there is a cloud of information which they refer as fact. But behind that, there is something more subtle, which is assumption. Most often, assumption may or may not have been identified. That's why if you look at this picture, assumption is like a nebulous, a cloud, and a little dull. But a fact, it's a very concrete thing. We can dole out facts. Why I'm saying what I'm saying, why these people are bad? Because that day they did this. So like that, we have very clear articulations of why we are concluding the way we are concluding. But the assumption is usually very vague. We have not discovered. So today, using this story of all the stories and this formula, we will examine a couple of more stories. Because story is the most wonderful way by which we can relate to any aspect of life. In fact, whether we know it or not, all of us are nothing but storytellers. Vasuji said, there is an actor in me. But I would like to say there's an actor in each one of us. Because each one of us is on this stage called as the world, and each one of us is playing so many roles. Each one of you is a mother, father, daughter, son-in-law, father-in-law, husband, wife, friend, enemy, so many roles. And look at it, how all of us play the role. We all play the role with so much of fervor, is it not? We all play this role with so much of integrity. See, whenever you are being a mother, there is so much of integrity. You feel for it. That's why you have so much of sadness when something not so nice happens to either your child or any other child in the world. Is it not? So that's a fantastic thing. Each one of us is a wonderful actor. Each one of us is an excellent storyteller. But we many a times may be doing it unconsciously. So when you recognize, when you discover, then you can do it consciously. So let's continue our story. So the next story. So we looked at the story of all the stories, but now we are going to jump into the first story, through which we are going to go a little deeper, because so far, the title said down the rabbit hole, but there is no hole, there is no rabbit. We have not spoken about neither the rabbit nor the hole. So we have to bring the rabbit and the hole into our discussion, is it not? So let's get into this story. She could have woken up. Who is she? Why she could have woken up? Let's see. Okay. There you go. It comes down the rabbit hole. So now I've done justice to the title of the talk, down the rabbit hole. The very first story. At the beginning, any story, if you look at it, every story has a beginning. Is it not? Like anything in life, as this beginning, this middle and end. At the beginning. What was at the beginning? There was Alice. All of you know this story. So this phrase, down the rabbit hole, is a very famous phrase from this Alice in Wonderland. And you know how this story begins? Alice apparently once was in the garden and she saw a rabbit who was looking at the pocket watch. Wow, a rabbit looking at the pocket watch and muttering something. She felt really, whoa, I have to go and catch this rabbit and talk to it. So she ran to catch this rabbit. So this rabbit was not at all an ordinary rabbit. She chased and the rabbit ran. And the rabbit went into a hole and she wanted to see how to catch the rabbit in the hole. And as she peeked, she tumbled and she fell into the hole. Oh, not only she fell into the hole, it was a very, very, very tricky hole, very, very long hole. See, she went on and on and on. But thankfully, nothing really happened. She just fell to the bottom of that hole. And how she fell, she did not know. Thus, she fell into this rabbit hole. This is the beginning of the story. So, when she fell, of course, any movie, no, if you just have a beginning, there's no fun in the movie. You have to have some kind of an adventure in the movie, is it not? And then when she fell, the adventure began for her in the Wonderland. You know what she meets there? Of course, all of you would have read Alice in Wonderland. She meets all kinds of characters. So there is a kettle which is talking. There is a group of funny dressed people. There is a mushroom. When she eats, she grows suddenly tall, so tall that she hits the roof of the house. And another part of the same mushroom, when she eats, she grows very small. So like that, this place is full of wonderful things, so many crazy things, and their behavior is so different. All the rules of life she had known in the world outside this rabbit hole are not at all applicable. They all seem to have different kinds of rules. So there is a cat which is advising her when she wants to come out of this hole. She's lost and she's asking how to go, where to go, and she finds a cat which is sitting there on top of a tree. And she says, "Oh, how should I go to go out?" There's a fork in the road when she's addressing that cat. And the cat asks her, "Oh, Alice, do you know where you want to go?" Alice says, "I don't know." Because obviously she doesn't know. She has just fallen. "I don't know." The cat says, "Then any which way will do." So like that, in this Wonderland, all kinds of crazy answers, all kinds of crazy things are going on. So not only this, as the story proceeds, she meets, see, in any story, no, if there is only these kinds of good and crazy things, there is no masala in the movie, no. There has to be some other opposite, no. So of course, she meets a evil queen. The evil queen is so evil that whatever rules she wants, she applies whenever. So here, she has called a group of these Wonderland creatures and she's holding a court. And she has called even this Alice to be one of the witness in that court. So like that, this Wonderland is full of all kinds of crazy things. So the story goes such that Alice decides that this queen is so evil that she has to support all these good people. So in Alice, even though she is in the Wonderland, she decides there is something good, there is something evil. She has to protect the good and she has to fight against the evil. So she decides. And the drama in the court is happening, and the evil queen, of course, orders all the spades, all the cards, the cards, all the cards to attack this Alice. Alice has to now defend herself. So will she be able to or not? Now, like in any other story, that is how we come to the climax, is it not? The so-called end. So the evil queen has ordered to attack Alice, and Alice is fighting them. Oh, the spades and all these cards are about to come and pounce on her. That's when Alice hears a voice. Wake up, Alice dear, wake up. Oh, now Alice wakes up, opens her eyes. She looks at her elder sister and she looks around and she finds, oh, all along I have been in this garden, sitting under this tree, and I have been having, oh, what a lovely dream. Her sister asks her, what happened? What happened? So Alice says, oh, it was a lovely dream. What a wonderful dream. And she runs away. And looking at her sister feels, oh, what a nice thing to be a child. I also wish such a wonderful life. So, this is how this particular story, she could have woken up. Why? Because let's understand what is that she is doing here in this story. So, she said, I just woke up when her sister asked her. And what was happening? It was just a dream. Now I am fine. Alice says, I just woke up and that was just a good dream, but now I am fine. So, this is the conclusion. And behind that conclusion, the fact is she is dreaming and she looks at her sister and says, oh, I was just dreaming. All that rabbit, all that evil queen, all that cards, all that kettle, all that crazy thing was just a dream. So, what is the underlying assumption? And why she's saying it's all a lovely dream? Because when she opened her eyes, she looks at this, oh, I am back in the world. I am in this world. And in her mind, world is solid, real, is it not? It is so real. I just woke up and this is real. And now this, about whom the sister is asking, are you okay? Yeah, I am okay. So this, whatever I refer as this Alice body, Alice mind, this is all real. And whatever that was happening so far is all just a dream. So, this is the insight, meaning, what is the assumption in Alice's mind? That I am in this world, and this world is real, pretty real. And I am also, as Alice, I am also very real. So, this is the conclusion behind, or this is the assumption behind a conclusion. So, whatever great Adi Shankaracharya ji would have said, what a wonderful opportunity. But alas, she missed it. She could have woken up because all the great masters have dedicated their life for the only simple reason that they somehow want each one of us to wake up. Wake up from what? Let's see the next story. And here, the story is he's waking up. Wonderful. So the previous one, she could have woken up, but now here is someone who's waking up. So there was this king, and the king was a very, very happy king. And he had a wonderful kingdom. And his kingdom was full of happy people. He was a very good king. And today, he was having a nice sleep. And he was thinking about all the good things that he wants to do tomorrow. And suddenly, in the middle of the night, one of his soldiers comes running. Oh king, wake up, wake up. What happened? What happened? The king wakes up. What happened? What happened? Oh, the neighboring king, he has amassed an army and he's attacked us in the middle of the night. What a evil king, crazy king. Please come save our kingdom. This king gets furious, wakes up, and orders all his army to gather. And he also wears his all war clothes and he goes. Being a wonderful king, he leads the fight from the front. He goes. But unfortunately, it was the middle of the night and he had just woken up. He had not really strategized. So it so happened that he lost the war. And that other king who attacked him was a fairly generous one. All he wanted was his kingdom. So he said, I am giving your life back, but I'm banishing you from this kingdom. Go. I'm going to give you your prana bhiksha. So he gives him the prana bhiksha, makes him a beggar who just got his prana and says, go, get lost. Somehow survive. This king, having lost his kingdom, all his possessions are taken away. He was not even given horse or anything else. He was just banished into this forest. So he walks and walks. He's so tired. He has already fought. He's so tired. And so many wounds are there. And he's not had morsel of food. And then he's also thirsty. He's feeling as if he's going to die. Then suddenly he sees at the edge of the forest, there is a village, and he looks at that, and there is a temple, and there's a line of people to whom some food is being given. Suddenly he gets lots of energy. Abba, must be God's grace only. So he rushes there, stands in the queue, because there is a long queue of beggars, people who have not had a lot of food. So that particular temple people every day seem to be offering food. So he stands in the queue and he's so thankful that they're offering the food. Now nobody recognizes him as a king because he's so lost now, having walked, having fought. His dress is torn. He's so dull. There's a lot of dust and nobody can recognize that he is the king. He stands in the queue and he goes there, and now he has become a true beggar. He's feeling, if only somebody can give me food. Ayyo, I was so rich and famous. What a wonderful life I had. Now, what has happened to me? He's suffering. But now he cannot live without food. He goes and he's holding his hand for the morsel of food. And the fellow was giving the food says, food is over. Now the king cannot contain anymore. He's crying, please, please give me some food. I have not had any food for 2 days. Please give me some food. Please see once again in the tumbler. Seeing all his crying and the kind of the things that on his face, the person who was offering the food opens it and he goes to the bottom of that barrel and scrapes and takes a leaf and puts all the food at the very bottom. He says, you're lucky. This food may not be very worthy of eating, but because you're so hungry, please have it. And the king is very happy. Abba, at last I'm going to get some food and I will think about all the other things. My God, what a mighty suffering this hunger is. So he wants to go and sit under a tree and eat. And unfortunately, wind blows and the leaf falls on the ground. All the food is on the mud now. And no more there is food on his plate. It's all now part of the mud. He just cannot bear it anymore. He's already lost his kingdom, his possessions, and the last morsel of food through which he could have survived is also lost. He is now crying his heart out. Oh God, why me? Why this suffering in life? What is that I've done? I'm such a good king. Ayo, can I not even have this little bit of food? He's crying. And his wife is shaking him. Oh, my Maharaja, wake up, wake up, wake up. Huh? He also opens his eyes. Oh, for a moment he looks around. Oh, oh, that was all but a dream, a bad dream. But his wife is asking, oh, Maharaja, you are screaming, you're crying your heart out. What happened? It's okay. It must have been just a bad dream. She's trying to console him. But this Maharaja now starts crying even more. The Maharani cannot understand. Oh, Maharaja, why? Why are you crying? It's just a dream. It's okay. Whatever happened, it's okay. He's now crying loud. He's now saying in a sobbing voice, Maharani, it's okay. But now I am so confused. I don't know. When I was suffering, that that place, you said that's a dream. But now, having looking at all this, I'm just wondering, that dream was so real. I was crying. I was lost. I was about to be. I was about to die. Now I don't know, Maharani, whether that was the dream or now I'm talking to you and you're consoling me. I don't know whether this is the dream. Was that the dream? Or is this the dream? I don't know, Maharani. So, therefore, I'm crying. Ah, this is a fantastic story. Not because the king is crying, because here there is a wonderful difference from the story of Alice. See, he also woke up. He also knew it was just a dream. He also was being consoled by his wife that he is fine. But the critical difference is now in his mind, there are questions. His assumption, about his assumption, he has questions. Was that the dream or is this the dream? The world that I inhabited in that so-called dream world, was that the real thing? Or this world that I'm inhabiting right now, is this the real thing? The king who was suffering in that dream, was that the real king? Or is this king who's crying now, not understanding what's happening? Is this the real king? What is real? What is real? This, our Shankaracharya ji would have said, fantastic. He's waking up. At last, someone is waking up from the dream. When the fundamental assumption is being questioned about this world, is this real? What is real? Is a question that all the great masters are constantly seeding, constantly wanting you and me to awaken to that true question. The great masters are not there to give any answer. They are there to seed this fundamental question. What is real? What is real? So there comes the fantastic story from Shankaracharyaji's life, which is called as Bhajagovinda. But in the context of our stories, it is wake up now, not tomorrow, not day after tomorrow, now, wake up now. That is the sense of urgency that our Shankaracharya ji has in the Bhajagovindam. You all know Bhajagovindam background story, that he saw one very old Pandita in Kashi who was trying to read some grammars of Sanskrit. And looking at him, Shankaracharya ji asked, what are you doing in this old age? Why are you learning this? That old man said, I want to learn the Sanskrit grammar. I want to master it. Then I want to learn all the great knowledge that is there in our scriptures. I want to learn about Vedanta. I will learn Vedanta after having learned all the grammars. By looking at that, Shankaracharya ji, his heart actually wept, because truth is so simple. Truth is so close. But why? Why are you running away? Why are you making it such a long distance marathon? Wake up now. Wake up now. Out of that compassion, he composed Bhajagovindam. Bhajagovindam, when you read the first few shlokas, they're hard hitting on what you and I call as this world and the ever changing and the Maya Jala and the disaster of this world. What is that Shankaracharya ji would have liked us to grasp? What is that? So let's look at this video and then we will continue. So that there is no double tune coming from my computer, I will go on mute until this video is played and then I will unmute myself.
He takes art to a new level. Everyone knows this from their childhood, when images were created with light and shadow. But Kuranushi's images are out of this world. He uses cardboard and shadows to create amazing works of art. The Japanese artist is being celebrated on social media. With just a few videos, he has already reached hundreds of millions of views. What an incredible talent!
What a fantastic talent, no? When human being is free from assumptions, how wonderfully he can create. When he is full of assumptions, he can also be the source of destruction, like what's happening. in all around us, in places such as Israel and Gaza, or he can be wonderful and creative and the most enjoyable species. So, what is that we saw here? What is that we're seeing here? So, he's just picking up what we usually call as a waste material. So, some cardboard material. And when he's gluing them, when he's putting them together, doesn't make sense. But look at the shadow it is creating. Look at the wonderful shadow it is creating. In one side, it may be looking like a ship, and as he turns it around, it looks like that pirate of the Caribbean. So, like that, what a wonderful talent. Very ingenious, is it not? So, what has this got to do with our rabbit hole and waking up? Let's find out. So, what's our general experience in life? I wake up in the morning, and as soon as I wake up, I have so many things to take care of. Depending upon what I am, as far as in my family or wherever I'm sleeping, I have already my plans. If I'm a mother and if I have children who has to be sent to school, already my mind is racing about, okay, what is that I'm going to cook today? At what time is my child up? As he got ready, what all they should be taking to school. So like that, 101 things come into the mind. And we get into the routine of whatever that role that we need to play. So this we call as, oh, I woke up and I have so many things to take care of today. As soon as we wake up, many a times, sometimes, we wake up with already a long face. Why? Ayyo, don't ask me. Today I have a project deadline. Today I have to submit. Today I have to go and attend this court case. Or today, don't ask me. I have an interview to attend. So like that, already our mind is racing into all kinds of things that we have to do. So this is what we call as I'm waking up. So this is in our day-to-day experience. Then we come back tired with all this running around. Is it not? We do all these things through the day, depending upon whatever various kinds of roles. If you are working outside, if you are working professional, and if you are a parent, you have to play your do the things according to as a parent, then go to your office and do whatever the role you have to play there. 101 things there come up to you, project deadlines, customer complaints, your employees come and crib, or suddenly your tire has got punctured, all the things. And how does it feel? Ayyabba, I have to rest. And of course, the best rest is sleeping. So I am sleeping. And then I am having wonderful dreams. So then when I wake up, I may say, oh, I had a good sleep. Otherwise, I had a terrible sleep. Even in my sleep, my project kept on coming. My boss was there. Or like how this king was suffering, I was suffering. Or, like Alice, there was a fighting going on. Something like that. What is happening? We have this notion that I am the one who's going through this waking, sleeping, dreaming, like that, 3 different kinds of stages of life. But like how Alice did not wake up, but how the king had that glimpse of that sharp question of what is real. When you look at these 3 states, we usually miss the most important state, which in a way is not really a state, which is there is during our sleep, there is a time when we are not even dreaming, which generally we call as deep sleep. So there is a fourth stage also, which we cannot really represent through any picture. But how do we know that fourth is there? Because when I wake up, I don't say, who has woken up? I say, I have woken up. And when I'm going to sleep, if you ask, who is going to sleep? You would say, I am going to sleep. Or like in that king's example, when the queen woke him up and said, why are you crying? Oh, I was dreaming. You also have that answer. I am dreaming. Sometimes suddenly when somebody wakes you up, or in the morning, sometimes you remember, oh, I want to tell you about my dream. You know what happened in my dream? Many a times we have this feeling of wanting to share our dream and analyze our dream endlessly, right? So through our experience, we only notice these three things. But there is a dreamless state where you don't even know whether you're awake or sleeping, whether the world is there or not. None of that is there, but you know it is there. How? Because when you wake up, there is a gap when you are not dreaming, but you confidently say, I woke up, right? So that fourth, that gap that we generally miss, which what we generally in our modern science refer as deep sleep state, that is the key to the reality. That is the key to the reality. How? Because when you notice in the waking, who do you say is waking? You take yourself to be whatever, your body to be, a male body or a female body, child body, young body, old body, with all the other kinds of understanding you have about who you think you are. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm intelligent, I'm stupid, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, whatever other ideas you have, with all those ideas, you say, I'm waking up. So who really woke up? Who really woke up? To say, I woke up, then you must have slept. If you have slept, and if you have no memory during that deep sleep stage, how can you, the one who went into sleep, say, I woke up? Who is waking up? Who is waking up? Have you examined that question? So to say, I woke up. So for example, as a body, if I have to say, I woke up. So as you know, the body is constantly transforming itself. For example, if you look at your childhood photo to your today's photo, you will see lots of difference. So science also tells you that your body is made up of trillions of cells, and billions of them are dying every moment, and new cells are coming. So to say, I woke up as a body, which body? So the body that went into sleep last night, then that body is no more there, because the science itself, or through your own personal experience, you can see that the body is constantly changing. So which body? So you cannot say with reference to the body that I woke up, because the body with which you went into sleep, or for that matter, the body with which all of us came into this very satsang, is no more there. Though we may not be noticing, that body is constantly changing. So with reference to body, you and I cannot say, I woke up. With reference to mind, mind is what? Nothing but various kinds of ideas we have about life, various thoughts about who I am, about what that is, about who that one is, what's the connection between them. All this collection of thoughts is what we generally refer as our mind. Is with reference to mind, can you say, I woke up? There also, You change, is it not? For example, let's say yesterday you had been given a promotion from a junior manager to a senior manager. Today morning, when you wake up, you'll say, I'm a senior manager. Because who went to sleep? Because of the promotion, day before yesterday, it was junior manager, and yesterday, senior manager. So, senior manager. So, like that, the ideas about you, your life, and our associations is constantly changing. So, how can you say, I woke up with reference to the mind then? So, it must be something else that is not necessarily the body, the physical body, or the contents of what you call as your mind. That must be who you are, is it not? And that is the only way you can even explain how you can say, I am waking, I am sleeping, I am dreaming, and I woke up. Because even when the deep sleep is happening, when you have no memory of that, you say, I woke up. So to say, I woke up, you must be there even during that deep sleep. Is it not? So this is the key answer. This is who I truly am. It is always there. Whether there is a so-called waking state happening, whether the so-called dreaming state happening, whether the so-called sleeping, this you, this I am, must be the only reason how you can say, I am the one who woke up. Otherwise, how can you even say like that? Is it not? So, which essentially means that you are the one who is seeing all these various changes come and go. And whatever is changing cannot be real. So, the only thing that can be real must be the one who is aware of all this change. So, Shankaracharya ji, that's why would point to us and say, the only reality is you as this unchanging awareness, the one who is aware of all the changes, all the states that are changing. And whatever is changing is what you and I would refer as, oh, this is happening. Whatever is happening is the Maya or the mind, is the change. And you have never changed. That's why, though your body is changing, your mind is changing, you are able to say, I am there. I was there. So you must not have changed. So that is the only reality, because everything else is coming and going. It is constantly changing. It does not mean that the current experience is not happening. It only means it is not real. It is not a permanent phenomena. So when you look at it with this insight that our great masters give, where is the rabbit hole? Where is this thing called as the world? Where is this thing called as the suffering? Where is this thing that you and I feel that we need to get something from? It is an appearance who is the embodiment of that divine awareness. So the rabbit hole itself is not real. When the rabbit hole itself is not real, what about falling, bottom, coming out? There is no rabbit hole. Rabbit hole is not real. It appears to be real. So with this, dear Atmajyotis, I would like to stop this talk. I have a short Vedantic meditation. We can go into that. What is Vedantic meditation? You know, various kinds of meditation. Vedantic meditation is simply keeping the thought about the truth in your playground called as the mind, and you being with that truth. So for our today's Vedantic meditation, there are some 6 shlokas from Bhajagovindam, and one of our Atma Jyoti has lent her wonderful divine voice.
एकान्ता कस्ते पुत्रः संसारोऽयमतीव विचित्रः कस्या त्वं कः कुत आयातः तत्त्वं चिन्तय तदिहा भ्रातः सत्सङ्गत्वे निस्सङ्गत्वं निस्सङ्गत्वे निर्मोहत्वं निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्वं निश्चलतत्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वा मानं पश्यति सोऽहम् आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढः ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं नित्यानित्यविवेकविचारं जाप्यसमेत समाधिविधानं कुरु ववदानं महदवदानम् शरणाम्बुज निर्भरभक्तः संसारात् अचिरात् भवमुक्तः सेन्द्रियमानस नियमादेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवम् भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते
Thank you all.